It was the early 1800s that the United States adopted what's called the Australian ballot. And it was the Australians that came up with the concept that we'll vote on paper, but we'll have the government sort of control that process. It used to be before, it was all private. It was parties that would conduct the elections and not the government. And so we adopted that here in this country and went to essentially a paper ballot and a community-based election system. So, you know, back then when we were an agricultural society, you know, your population centers were kind of structured around where you could grow crops and where it made sense along rivers, et cetera. And you would have your local community members support the election. And you know, you'd see your neighbors, et cetera. And you would vote on Tuesdays because that's when everybody went to market, was on Tuesdays. And that's how voting started on Tuesdays. Well, here we are, you know, in the 21st century, and we're essentially voting the same way. So we have 3.2 million people in Orange County, but we have about 1.5 million voters out of that 3.2 million. And you know, the thing that a lot of people don't realize, while we're one of the largest voting populations in the country, we're one of the smallest when it comes to geographic size. I mean, Orange County has 952 roughly square miles. When you compare that to some counties around us that have thousands and thousands of square miles, you know, if you think about how many ballots we're producing and how much paper's involved in that process for 1.5 million people, it's tremendous. Orange County certainly is on a national stage. So my role, I'm the chief elections official for the county. And so we are the local government agency that administers all elections in Orange County. That can range from registering to vote all the way through conducting the election itself and then counting the ballots at the end of the process. So it's a very important role, but it's also a large, complex operation as well.
Yeah, well, there won't be a page called How to Use This Sample Ballot anymore.
Right.
This will be on a different page, this will be on a different page.
Can you correspond whatever either page number or where it's located on where we're moving these items? Like we're saying we're eliminating some of these and they're going to go to the table of contents page, or this is going to go to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that way we have an idea of where they're landing.
Mm-hmm.
When we're at full speed in an election cycle, we have about 240 people that I'm responsible for here on site. Anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 volunteer poll workers that I'm responsible for, and then about 300 field personnel that I'm responsible for. It all starts when candidates want to get on the ballot and they decide, hey, I've got this desire to run and to be a leader and shoot for office. That process starts about 120 days out from an election day. And so they'll come in and they'll file here in our office, and there's paperwork that they have to go through to get their name on the ballot. There are signatures they have to gather to get their name on the ballot. And once they've done that and they pay their filing fee and they may include a candidate statement, then that real process begins of how the sausage is made, right, behind the scenes.
You know, I've been on the ballot in this county at least 10 times. So most candidates, in order to be eligible to run, have to gather 20 signatures. What people are always worried about is how many good signatures they're going to have. For example, let's say you walk in the last day and you give them 27 signatures, and 7 of the people who voted, or 8 of the people who voted, are not registered voters. Then you'd be 1 signature short, and you are not allowed to be on the ballot, because that is a prerequisite. So getting the right signatures by the right people can make all the difference in the world.
My name is Mike McClellan, and I'm filing my papers to run for the Central Committee of the Republican Party of Orange County. And I just wanted to make sure that I got here in the early afternoon, so I wasn't here for the late afternoon rush, as I'm sure a lot of folks will be coming in the next couple hours.
The one thing you didn't see, which happens sometimes, is they'll wait till the very end, but they haven't gotten enough signatures or they're not all valid, and then they'll walk out not on the ballot.
Thank you for being so patient. How can I help you?
Well, you have my envelope. I needed one more signature, and I brought it in.
50. But we are locking the doors at 5, so once you're out, you're out.
All right, so sign, right?
Yes, autograph right there. And today's the 11th all day. And then I will make you a copy of your receipt so you have
All
that.
right, very good. I had 25, figure I had them all. Came yesterday, got everything done. I get a call today saying, no, only 19 qualified. So today I gotta hustle one up, come down here from Fullerton in the rain, and then turn this one in.
They're not good. When Lisa filled out the form, she put the wrong date. And because she was the one that circulated, you can't make the change to it. So none of these signatures are good. And she had her friend Lisa do the signatures for her, and we issued the paperwork to her on the 11th of February, and her friend accidentally wrote that she circulated the papers out on the 10th. So since she didn't even have the papers yet, then she wasn't issued. None of the signatures she collected count. They're all invalid, and she only turned in 24 signatures, and that made up 8 of them. So there was no way she was going to make her 20.
The door is operated by a magnet, so it's 5 o'clock already, right? 1,700 hours, so nobody's coming in the door, which is a good thing. Otherwise, I'd probably be the one to bear the bad news.
You know, when I ran for mayor and I won by 15 votes. And there was a recount right here at the Register of Voters. So every single vote counts.
He's CD49. Yes, he's qualified.
The 68th is Wagner's, but he was turned out, so not extended. And the 46th is
extended, correct.
It's a long day. I mean, when you get to the end of where all the candidates are coming together at the last minute, it's pretty hectic, and it's a demanding job and it's stressful. But this is kind of that piece of democracy is when it all starts to come together on the ballot. So it's pretty cool. The ballot creation is really complex. A lot of people ask me, well, why don't you just put it on a Word document? Well, you can't do that because you have voting precincts that intersect throughout the entire county, thousands of them. So what you may be voting on may be very different from what your neighbor's voting on across the street. So that's how the complexity of building that ballot comes together. On top of that, you've got 8 languages that we support in addition to that. You're at 88 days out when that candidate filing period stops. Now you have about a 25-day window to get everything prepared, created, printed, addressed, so you can start sending it out to voters. We have 1.5 million sample ballots, and many of them are 25, 30 pages long. We'll do the math. I mean, this is a huge operation. If you go back about 10 years in Orange County, there were about 300,000 people that were voting through the mail. We're now today at 900,000 people that are voting through the mail. And what does that tell you? That tells you a lot of people want convenience. They want to vote on their terms. They get that ballot out about 30 days in advance of Election Day. They can make their choice. And if they wanted to, they can go into a polling place and drop it off. And that, by the way, is also record-setting. We're getting more and more people that are getting their ballot in mail, but they're dropping it off directly in the polling place. So we're paper management as well as voting management. Morning, guys. Morning. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good. You ready?
Yes.
Awesome. The biggest challenge for us is going to be there's 700,000 ballots outside ready to go. They're going to be mailed this week. So we just need to be prepared to deal with that.
This one had to do within their system. That then whatever we scan on Saturday, the system didn't take any of the stuff. No information was taken. Somehow there was a glitch in the system, so we had to redo it. We're gonna do one by one. We're gonna get the first pallet from here. We're gonna move it over to the area where we scan, closer to the base. And once we do that, we're gonna do the same procedures that we did before.
I'm the machine operator here, but now what I'm doing, I'm in charge of scanning everything. Like I gotta make sure all the boxes right here, scan everything, all the boxes, and then from here they take it to the other place, to lab.
Right now, this is our 20th pallet, so we should be, we need about another 43 pallets to go.
These here, these are all different ballots. So it's not like you're looking at one stack of the same thing. When we're proofing it, what you may be voting on or your neighbor may be voting on is completely different. And so these are two different ballots. So you're proofing all of this data along with that sample ballot that has all of that information in the back. And you end up with hundreds of thousands of combinations in 8 languages. So I always like to tell people, we're creating about a 500-page novel in about a 3-week window. That's essentially what we're doing. And put it on bookshelves and have it perfect. When the ballots hit the street, it's all over because, you know, the only way to correct that is you send something else out. And like, for example, what we're dealing with right now, where you had one sentence that was left out of part of a measure, we have to go forward and correct that.
So now we're printing up 1.3 million cards to send out to every registered voter in Orange County.
In Orange County now we have 1.5 million voters, and this will probably be a 2-page ballot, so you're talking 3 million pieces of paper that are going to come together. I always like to use this stat that if we lined up all of our ballots from here, it would go from here to St. George, Utah on the pavement. It's a tremendous amount of paperwork and, you know, work that goes behind getting these ballots in voters' hands, but that's what keeps democracy humming. Yes. All right, guys, so I want to talk about ballot, obviously. The one issue we had where the ballot designation was resting on the line. That's the only issue we had, right?
That's one issue. I think there's a couple other issues that, they're not really issues, they're more decisions.
So that's if there's no contest on that page.
Yeah.
And go back.
So this is the first page.
Do you have one where it's the first page with nothing on it for like a nonpartisan ballot?
No, it's not on the first page because it's only, it would only be where there's a central committee. It's only Democrat.
But there's nothing there that says for them to go to the next page.
So that would solve this problem here. So I'm in charge of creating the ballot and working on the sample ballot, creating the measure files. So I have to format all the measure documents that go into the sample ballot, and also worked on some of the redesign of the sample ballot, laying it out and stuff like that. Today is 29 days before the election. So yeah, we need to have this stuff out, not only so we can have people voting here, but we need to create all the cards for election days for all the polling places. People were supposed to be able to vote today on it, and we do have a version of the ballot that they can go and vote on, and it does have audio. It's just the language that's we're having problems with. But the English is good to go, and then we can fix it for them, or we can assist them in person, so it's not a huge deal there. But we need to get this done today, right now, so yeah.
700,000 packets with 2 14-inch pages, which means you've got 1.5 million pieces of paper between these 2 aisles that people are going to be ready to vote on. I'm ready to mail them today, but you know, because of the challenges of making sure that the sample ballot is 100% accurate, I don't want to send out vote-by-mail ballots until that's done. As soon as they hit their door, they can vote on it and mail it back. I mean, we're at that point in the election, and that can go on for the next 30 days. You know, overall, I think we're feeling pretty good because you're talking about a year's worth of planning coming together for that one single day. You know, there's not many operations like that unless you go to the Super Bowl or the World Series, things where there's a single event on a single day. I mean, we're preparing, always the morning is tough. You know, we're preparing this morning for, you know, people that don't show up. I mean, people don't think about that. You have 5,000 plus volunteers out there, and it's like any other workday, right? And you got people that call and say, well, I'm not feeling too good today. I'm not going to show up. You have nobody that you can necessarily put in there and replace other than your backup pool. And so those are challenges that you have to deal with. And I'm also thinking about people not showing up to unlock the door. That's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with this morning, because that's going to happen. And then finally the equipment, and getting the equipment up and running, because this is electronic equipment. You may have a bug or two you have to troubleshoot through, right? Those are all the things that keep me awake at night. You want to run through the checklist?
Yes.
My name is Debbie Medina, and I work for a financial services firm. I've been living in Orange County for 36 years. It was 1980. I moved out here from Connecticut. Voting to me is, it's a privilege. I grew up with a father that really believed in the right to vote, and so he raised us to do that, because that's what makes us the democracy that we are. The challenge I found in my experience has been how to get enough information on the candidates running for office that I felt comfortable making the selections, especially with the Senate. How do you make a decision? I'm one that likes to research, and it's as simple as Googling the names of these individuals running for office and doing some research on them. And so I Googled every name in preparation for voting day, which some might laugh at. It may seem a little bit over the top, but I needed to feel comfortable about why I chose who I chose. Today I plan to go vote. My voting poll is in Brea, California, and I work in Irvine, California, so I plan to leave around the lunch hour in hopes that there wouldn't be too much of a line there at the voting polls, and I can get back to work in a timely fashion.
My name is Megan Wagner. I'm a Deputy District Attorney in the Orange County District Attorney's Office in the Major Fraud Unit. My husband and I moved to Orange County in 1991. We've lived in the same house since then. A little more than a year ago, I made the decision that if there was going to be an open seat on the Orange County Superior Court, that I would run for it. And then I waited, and then it wasn't until, late January that it became known that there were going to be 3 open seats on the Orange County bench. And so at that point, I officially threw my hat in the ring.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right.
I'm proud to be an American citizen, and I'm glad I have the opportunity to vote, and I wear this with respect and dignity for the nation that we live in.
All the vote by mail ballots that we've received to date, there's 300,000. We're getting ready to start prepping the data to report the results at 8:05 tonight. And that process will take a couple of hours to work through that data and prepare it for reporting the results. So what people see on the website tonight at 8:05 will be all the vote by mail ballots cast up through Monday night.
Later tonight, we're going over to the BJ's in Irvine. We've reserved out part of the patio. We've invited lots of friends and family to come and watch results, but really mostly to decompress. It's been a pretty rigorous 4 months.
When they said they were going to post? They said they were going to post at 8:05 is what I thought.
There are 5 different devices all within 3 feet of me. We'll see who wins. It's still only 8:03. Wasn't it like 5 minutes ago it was 8:03?
News.
He laughed, Christina.
Okay. Back up with it. That's the chrome.
Rains it pours, you know, power goes out. Where's he at?
He's office. Oh no, he's back over there now.
8:05. Right at 8:05.
Unbelievable.
It is 8:05 and 20 seconds. It's not there yet.
It's crazy. It's like 10 Super Bowls in one. You know, the pieces that have to come together for this. It's just... And then, for instance, right now, we're trying to get hold of the emergency contacts on power, and nobody's answering. Hey, it's Neil. How are you? Good. I'm sorry to bother you. So right at 8:05, when we were posting our first results, the power went out in our building. And we kicked over to generator, so we had a 2-minute delay. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on. 30 seconds to a minute behind because of the power outage, and people are saying, where are the results? You know, this is the crazy thing. Justin, do you copy?
Okay, so there's a massive power outage in Santa Ana is the story I'm going with.
I mean, the fact that they're
just tested them yesterday.
Right.
20. Yes. We're unloading them right now.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, the cavalry's coming on the power issue, so which is great. So they should be here any minute. We're running on a very large industrial generator that can run for 4 days on the fuel that's in there. So, you know, I feel good about that, but I still don't want to take a chance. We want to try and get that switch back over.
Still nothing yet. Woo! Woo! Awesome.
That's done. That's it.
So since I was fortunate enough to get above 50% in the June primary, I'm now a judge-elect, and that's really wonderful. I will take the bench on January 2nd, 2017, and sometime between now and then I'll find out which courthouse here in Orange County I'll be serving at and what my particular assignment will be to start off with. And so between now and then I'm continuing on my duties as a deputy DA, and then come January 2nd I will become a judge of the Orange County Superior Court.
We're moving them on first bay.
Okay, but we're not opening anything right now. I just want to make sure that stays sealed.
Got it.
Okay. All right. You know what? These hard-working people here, which are very hard-working, they're going to be up 24 hours. So I think a really good day overall. When you look at the size and complexity of Orange County on a national level, this was a solid day. Because in the last 12 years, I can tell you, this has never happened to me. The power going out a minute before you're posting results, and the team pivoted amazingly.
I really did not have much knowledge about the operations of the Register of Voters. I did not know really thoroughly the level and the amount of work that goes into what they do, as I learned this year. The Register of Voters did a great job of anticipating the needs of the voter community.
The entire team here at the Register of Voters has just been helpful, they're knowledgeable, they're pleasant. It's an enormous undertaking, but it goes so incredibly smoothly. I think that's credit to Neil Kelly and his entire staff.
And just to be a part of, I think, one of the most important things that government does, you know, and maintaining democracy and keeping government functioning and running is a real, I'm very proud to be a part of that process. And I know everybody here is as well.